Welcome everyone. This is the sports show with no name. My name is Vincent Gilroy. I'm here with Tom Egan, aka Tom the Tank Egan. You might know him as the coach on The Ultimate Fighter season 22. You might know him as the first Irishman to enter the UFC octagon. You might know him from a lot of things. Personally, I know him as a good friend and a guy who loves a really nice coffee. Good stuff. He likes the good stuff.
Like a good coffee.
And he does like Patriots on a Sunday.
Love it.
Two things he likes: good coffee and a Patriots on a Sunday. We'll take Monday Night Football any day of the week, especially on Mondays. Tom just got back from UFC 94, Aldo versus McGregor. Tom, talk to me about your experience.
It was an absolutely incredible experience. I have to say, from the second I get there, I had people saying, "Oh my God, Tom Egan!" You know, I was one of the characters that you would see as a fan when you go to one of these events, because my name and Conor's name happen to be synonymous with each other based on our
very
past.
well linked. Yeah, very well linked, you two
based
guys.
on our past and growing up together, and also based on, you know, my history with the UFC, and then of course having cornered Conor in his in a couple of his fights, and being in his training camp for the Mendes and being a big part of that. So literally from the second I get there, I was one of the people that you want to get a photo with, that you might want to get an autograph from, and it was a really great experience. But top to bottom, it was nothing short of incredible.
Talk to me about either the best fan you met there or a person that you met there and you're like, that was awesome.
Oof, so many great fans. I have to say, like, I was stopped a number of times by people for a photo or an autograph, and I think off the top of my head there was maybe 3 people that said to me, "I follow you on Snapchat," which is Tank Egan, by the way. "I follow you on Snapchat, and I love your drunk roommate that you always catch coming home after being out." And I was, of
course,
like,
there's always one drunk Irish roommate.
I was like, wow, this is incredible. My roommate, he's actually famous.
All around the world.
So,
people in Brazil are looking at him, just to let you know.
Seriously, there was like all kinds of people from, you know, England, people from the United States. You know, I was trying to watch the Patriots game on the Sunday after the fights, just minding my own business, smoking a cigar, watching the Patriots game, and I had this American guy come up to me and be like, "You're Tom Egan, I want to buy you drinks." And then I met some other Irish guys that knew who I was there, and then he ended up buying all of us drinks because he thought we were all together. So then I looked even like more of the man. And then, you know, then my brother and my friend Marty were talking to some girls, and then he bought those drinks, so I looked good. I look good in many different ways, but yeah, the fans.
That is called the knock-on effect.
Yeah,
that's the knock-on effect, and I love it. I love it. I love seeing Irish people succeed like that.
Yeah,
like that throughout the world.
No one single favorite fan, but everybody was just incredible in their own little way, you know.
Excellent. Talk to me about the atmosphere of the fight.
The whole event, or just
the whole event.
The whole event was just this constant build-up to the McGregor Aldo, even though the other fights that came before were nothing short of excellent. The Jacare, the Souza fight, the against Yoel Romero, the Rockhold Weidman fight, 2 incredible fights.
Luke Rockhold was very impressive.
Very impressive.
Very dominant.
And so was Chris Weidman, I have to say. I actually felt like Chris Weidman was winning the fight. I felt like Chris Weidman, you know, he was pressing Rockhold, and he did exactly what he did to Anderson Silva and what he did to Mark Munoz, and what he did to some of the other fighters that he had fought previous to, to Machida. Anybody that he fought previous to that, he was starting to set up his timing and his distance very well, and he lost the whole thing.
Once you threw that spinning kick,
that was it. He gave the fight away.
Yeah, Rockhold got on top then.
I can safely say this: matched up evenly, like matched up. I see Weidman winning that fight 2 out of 3 times. To be quite honest with you, I feel it was a bit of both. It was Weidman's mistake and Rockhold's success that managed to, Weidman making a mistake and then Rockhold capitalizing on that mistake. I mean, which is usually a lot of fights. I mean, same with Aldo McGregor. McGregor or Aldo making the mistake of overthrowing and Conor just capitalizing on that.
Absolutely, and this is something that he had predicted himself in the past many times. Not just with that fight, he also predicted it with the Dustin Poirier fight. As I said, he said when his head clatters off the canvas, he's going to know I'm not all talk.
The most important thing in that is the word clatter.
Because nobody understands clatter more than an Irish person. We all know what getting clattered means. If he was to clatter me right now, I'd be lying on the ground. Some people from other English-speaking countries, they might say the word clatter and they could think it means chocolate or getting drunk. It could be anything. But Poirier's head did clatter off the ground. When you watch it, as McGregor got him with that the punch to the side of the head. As he goes down, McGregor pounces on him, and he has a phenomenal killer instinct. His killer instinct is phenomenal. He gets down and he's literally on one knee and he's punching Poirier just as he said he would, and his head is clattering off the ground. Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, the entire event was incredible. The fights before the McGregor Aldo fight were nothing short of incredible, from all the athletes and all the fighters fighting, and then of course the main event itself. I had the whole night, even though like I said all the fights were incredible, the whole night had this, you could just feel it in the air. It was just the build up to that McGregor Aldo fight. There couldn't have been any other fights on the card, and the arena still would have sold out just to see that.
I believe it, and that is one of the differences I feel between buying a UFC pay-per-view and buying a boxing pay-per-view. Not many people watch the undercard fights on a boxing pay-per-view. I was excited for a lot of the other fights on the UFC 194, the card, and some people will say to me, "Oh, you bought it, you spent $60 on that pay-per-view and it only lasts 13 seconds." Wrong. That's not how the UFC works.
No.
They put on a show.
Buying the whole 2 hours.
Absolutely, you are buying the whole thing. Yeah. The fact that a McGregor fight lasted 13 seconds, apparently to the people who don't know, works out at $4 a second. But that's not the way you should look at it. It's not the way I look at it. I was highly entertained by the new lighting system the new lighting method that they used when Bruce Buffer, who is the best in the business, hands down, I don't care what other sport you're talking about, I don't think anyone that I can think of myself is better at introducing people than Bruce Buffer. He introduces it's like he introduces them from his soul. He gets inside himself and he is in the moment.
Not a lot of people realize how long Bruce Buffer's actually been around. Like, he was around, he managed and actually coached his older brother Michael Buffer during the boxing days. He managed him and got him things. I know for a fact that they had been apart from each other for a while, met up, and then Bruce actually started managing Michael Buffer and got him some success. And then finally, when the UFC rolled around, that he decided to do what he was managing his older brother to do. And he kills it every time.
He does a great job of it.
And it's funny, as I'm walking into the weigh-ins, the UFC 194 weigh-ins, as I'm walking through the weigh-ins, everyone's just focused on going forward. I spotted Bruce Buffer walk in the opposite direction to everybody, and I just looked at him and I said, "It's time!" And he kind of like,
I'm surprised he didn't charge you for that. Yeah, I think he's got "It's Time" patented.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, I know his brother has the "Let's Get Ready to Rumble." He's got that one trademarked.
He has "Let's Get It On."
Yeah. Well, maybe we will do "Clattered." Maybe we'll trademark "Clattered."
Yeah, before McGregor does it, that's for sure.
He'll have it first. Let me talk about McGregor's ability to predict fights. His ability to foresee what is going to happen. I have never seen another athlete talk so much and do literally exactly what he said. If he said to me in his next fight that if he said in an interview that he was going to jump out of the ring, land on Dana White's shiny head, backflip back into the ring, and finish someone with a Superman punch, who am I to say that that's not going to happen?
Absolutely.
Through everything else that has happened with McGregor, he has said how he was going to finish Aldo. He said how he was going to finish Poirier. He said he was going to demolish Marcus Brimage. He said he was going to destroy Dennis Seaver. He did it to everybody. And Mendes as well. He said he was going to finish Mendes in 2 rounds. He finished him in 2 rounds. I know there was only 3 seconds left. Some people say that it was an early stoppage. Personally, I don't believe it, because
Mendes was done.
That turkey was cooked, as we would say. He was done, and he was covering up, but he wasn't not defending himself intelligently. He was getting killed at that stage. He was all done.
Yeah, he was. Mendes was put down. He covered up, and he wasn't answering any of the shots. So referee Herb Dean did a great job, stepped in and stopped it. And it was
well, Herb Dean, best in the business. They're him and Big John McCarthy. They're the best at what they do.
I don't know if anybody's seen that meme on Facebook after the Weidman Rockhold fight, and it was Herb Dean after. It was Herb Dean during the Luke Rockhold and Weidman fight, looks over at Rockhold's family, and it was a clip from Rocky when Apollo Creed's like, if he dies, he dies. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it, but I'll definitely check it out.
Because he should have stopped that fight in the fucking, was it the 3rd round?
I believe so, but he was giving him, as champion, kind of the benefit of the doubt.
Oh man, he took it like it was unhealthy to beat.
Yeah, the worst beating I've seen in that situation was when Chris Weidman fought Mark Munoz. I was literally screaming at the television, stop the fight, the fight, because Munoz's face is facing this way on the ground as he's getting punched in the head repeatedly. His hands are back. He can't defend himself.
And a lot of the times you can't blame it on the fighter. That's because they're
the fighter's job is to keep going until the referee pulls them off. There's so much on the line.
The referee's job.
And a perfect example of that, sorry to interrupt you, is Pat Barry versus Czech Congo. If you remember that fight, Pat Barry was out back. Exactly, but a lot of other referees would have stopped that fight. Congo was going down. He looked like he was done.
And like the difference there is like Congo was moving. He was stumbling, but he was moving. He was going. He was going. It's when the fighter is stopped is when the fight should be like. If the fighter's not moving and they cover it up, that's when the referee should be like, okay, they're not defending themselves. But yeah, I watched that fight and I love to see fighters keeping that fight inside them and then coming back with the win. It was great.
How did you think Aldo reacted as he got into the ring? Do you think he was nervous, or do you think he was his normal self, should we say? Do you think Conor had actually got to him in his head?
A lot of people who don't know Aldo and they don't know his routine going into the ring would have said that he looked extra nervous. I felt that he looked very similar, but he did have a look of pressure on his face, for sure. His normal routine of not looking up, keeping his head down.
He did it in the Mendes fight. He did it in the Frankie Edgar fight.
He's been doing that for 10 years.
Absolutely.
He goes into the ring, puts his head down, puts his back against the fence, and just waits. Goes in, doesn't look at his opponent, goes back, and then he lifts his head, and that's his go time. That's
his switch turner. That's when he flicks the switch.
Even in that fight against McGregor, you can still see the change of emotion that happens, and it's actually incredible because a lot of people don't pay attention to that, because obviously the focus was on McGregor. But when you see Aldo getting into the ring, he's all jittery, he's full of energy, he's all this, he's all that. Gets in the ring, puts his head down, he's shaking, he's moving, he's moving. He looks concerned. It almost like he looks concerned, or he comes across as afraid. Goes into the middle of the ring. Referee says what he needs to do. Backs up, looks up, and then all of a sudden it's a blank face now. It doesn't even look like he has any emotion. It's blank. He's ready. And honestly, I just think at that point in time, it was just, you gotta understand. 9 out of 10 guys would have folded at that pressure that Aldo placed on McGregor, whereas it was just really McGregor's calmness and composure that allowed him to execute such a beautifully timed left hand, or left hook I should say, because it kind of came in at an angle right on the jaw. I mean, 9 times out of 10 I see fighters backing up off of what Aldo threw and then getting eaten with a big right kick, because he came down to the body with the right hand, came up with the left hook. That's when Conor clipped him. But I guarantee you what was to follow, as if Conor had backed up rather than throwing some, a big right kick would have came. 9 out of 10 fighters would have eaten that combo, but Conor's composure and his calmness allowed him to do that. So I wouldn't really say that Aldo you know, he's such a professional. He's been doing this for 10 years. I wouldn't necessarily say that he folded under the pressure. I just think McGregor was just that good to really capitalize on that moment.
I have never seen a fighter look more comfortable in a ring, an octagon, anything than Conor McGregor. He has even said it himself. He says as he's walking out, he feels like he's becoming unshackled, and then he's let in, because once they close that octagon gate, there's no media, there's no one asking him questions, there's none of that other outside pressure. He is in his absolute element when he is under the spotlight in a UFC octagon. Never have I seen a fighter ever look more comfortable. If you watch the fight again, you'll notice as they engage the first time, I think he throws a left cross, and then he steps back and he throws that side kick, and as he throws that side kick, he's smiling in his face, like it's Christmas morning.
It's like he knew it was going to happen. It's kind of creepy.
Like it's Christmas morning. He is like in the happiest place in the world right there. There is no place he'd rather be. And you don't see that with a lot of fighters. You definitely don't. I have never seen anyone as happy to be where they are in a mutual combat situation, to be as happy. And that has to be coming from his confidence, which he has in bucket loads, and B, his preparation. Because he is so well prepared. There is he fully believes in his mind that the fight's going to go the way it's going to go. And it goes that way because of his belief and his preparation.
Right.
He is unbelievably prepared, I'm going to say, by his coach and his training staff, but I feel like John Kavanagh is like this quiet, evil genius. He amazes me anytime I hear his interviews, and especially the way other people talk about him. Talk to me about John Kavanagh for a minute, because you know him very well.
Yeah, John, like you said, he is an evil genius. He kind of, you know, he is an extension of Conor's belief in himself. You know, it was really John that believed in Conor all the way. You know, I always told people about Conor, I believed in Conor. I thought he was phenomenal coming up. You know, growing up, Conor definitely had maybe a couple of demons here and there. You would say things that pulled
as we all have,
things that pulled him away from the sport. So Conor was definitely in and out of the MMA world early on in his career. You know, but when everybody else didn't really believe in him, I mean, you couldn't doubt the kid's abilities, and his athleticism was incredible.
Not only that, when you combine that with his drive to win,
but you got to remember, like, he that drive came over time, over the course of time, with some success. His persistence is very impressive. Like, he stayed with it. He didn't give up on what he needed to do. He put so much effort into MMA that at the end of the day, it was the only thing he knew how to do. So it made sense for him to continue to do it. But what I'm saying is, you know, he had athleticism, he had ability, but a lot of people doubted Conor, and John was really the one that believed in him all the way, like literally all the way. And I think it's paying off big time for John as a coach to see Conor win and succeed to where he is, because he literally, you know, believed in him, stayed with him when Conor wasn't really
focused on it.
He was there, but he wasn't 100% there.
Yeah.
John still believed him, never gave up on him. Wasn't like, oh, you know what, this kid he has talent, whatever, I won't pay attention. Just for whatever reason, it's as crazy as it is that Conor believes in himself, which is, you know, incredible. It's even more so creepy to think that John at that one time did not give up on Conor. Literally showed up to his parents' house one time when Conor was kind of down and out, and literally spent time with them, and was like, you know, the parents called John and said, look, you need to come down here and talk to Conor, get him back in the gym. And John went out to the house, sat down with them, talked to the family, talked to Conor, and got him back in the routine of things.
And that goes to show the character of a person that John Kavanagh is.
Yeah.
Not just a guy who's like, oh, I'm going to be your coach. He legitimately cares about Conor, and I assume cares about other people too. He's a genuine guy. Quick question: what do you think is next for Jose Aldo?
Jose Aldo.
Jose Aldo.
Ask that question again, because you can edit it, no?
Yeah, we're gonna go one take here.
Okay.
So I'll ask it again and put it out. So, what do you think is next for Jose Aldo?
Honestly, I think it's hard to deny Jose Aldo an immediate rematch, since this seems to be the trend of the UFC. It's unfair if a champion like Jose Aldo doesn't get an immediate rematch at the featherweight title.
Yeah.
I know Frankie's earned it. If Frankie were to watch this and say, those motherfuckers, no. Frankie, without a doubt, deserves a shot at the title. All I'm saying is, just as much as Frankie deserves a shot at the title, I think it would be unfair, considering the champion that Jose Aldo was, to deny him a rematch, considering that Ronda Rousey, who got an ass whooping, a top to bottom ass whooping.
But the difference is, there is nobody close to Ronda Rousey. It's Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey, then there's a huge gap.
Oh, sure.
A huge gap. It's not like that in the featherweight division.
Right.
It's different.
Right.
I think Frankie Edgar has more than earned his shot. And I would love to see more than Conor McGregor, Frankie Edgar in Crow Park.
Yeah, that would be,
Now, I know Garrett Brooks couldn't make it to Crow Park, but I guarantee you Conor McGregor can make it to Crow Park or the Aviva Stadium.
But look, like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think Frankie deserves it. It all depends on how they want to play it out, what they want to do.
They want to go for the money fight because that's what they want to do, and I understand it's a business, that's what they do. But say that the fight had gone 4 minutes but ended the same way, because I feel no matter how that fight then was going to play out, it was going to end that way. I feel if they fought again, it may end a different way. But if that fight went another 4 or 5 minutes, maybe even into the second round, I feel that was the shot that was going to put him down. McGregor had said it, and if he says it, it's more than likely it's going to come, because they don't call him Mystic Mac for nothing.
Right now, I'm more interested in McGregor dos Anjos. That's what I'm very interested in, because I know that's the next fight. The next fight for Conor McGregor is the 155 pound.
And you have said it to me many times, and I've heard people say it before. Daniel Cormier has said it. I've heard Brian Stan say it. A McGregor at 55 is a whole different fighter.
Yeah, he's
quicker. He's quicker, more powerful.
Right.
He doesn't have to cut as much weight.
As quick as he has been, he's more so at 55, but not just that, consistently faster. He suffered an injury in the Mendes fight, but we saw in the Mendes fight, as it was starting to drag out, as it was getting a little bit more as it was getting a little harsher, we saw, I felt that Conor was a beat slower in the Mendes fight.
But I feel
now I know he had the injury.
That's why I think he was slower in the Mendes fight.
Right, and he had a perfect camp for the Aldo fight, so he was nothing but quick. But I feel at 45, as quick as he is, he's still maybe a beat faster at 55.
The bottom line is, the 45 division has nothing for him. Look what he's done in the 45 division. Finished everyone except Max Holloway when he popped out his knee. Torn MCL, torn ACL.
The whole shebang.
The whole lot gone. One knee, as he said in the press conference afterwards, and this will go again to show how driven he is. He said something to the words of, "I should have pulled my knee from my leg and hit him over the head with it." That's the mindset that he has. Not a lot of people have that kind of mindset.
No, he does have an absolutely incredible mindset, and that is why he is as successful as he is. What's next for Jose Aldo?
A Max Holloway fight would be good to watch.
It would be.
I see what you're saying, but he deserves a rematch. And once again, McGregor said it. He said, "I'm going to beat him in a way that a rematch would not be necessary."
I think, and like I said, I understand what you said there about you feel like no matter what was going to go that way, that McGregor was going to win with that left straight. He was going to get that. But because the fight, and again, this is not taking away anything that Conor did. You know, Conor, like I said, he capitalized, you know, so gracefully and so perfectly on that, you know, looping hook that Aldo was throwing, and he timed it perfectly. Yeah, Conor has the right to go up and fight at 55, and he has that right. He doesn't have to fight Aldo immediately, but considering Aldo's domination of the division for as long as he did, the guys that he's beaten, you know, and for how quick the fight ended, I as a fan, you know, not having any personal ties, I would like to see the Aldo McGregor 2,
which will sell out like that, which will sell out in a heartbeat.
I would like Aldo McGregor 2 UFC 200. That's what I
One thing I noticed, Tom, in the fight, if you rewatch it, you may not have seen it, but I noticed as from some of the other camera angles, as John McCarthy is pushing McGregor off Aldo, if you look in the top left-hand corner of your screen, you'll notice Frank Fertitta with the belt slamming it down. Now, I only picked up on that recently, but you don't have to comment on it. But what do you think about that?
That is.
I found it strange.
Yeah,
myself
it is very
personally.
Strange, and for the outside world, it might come across as strange. You know, I don't want to comment too deeply on what I understand may be happening, but I can certainly paint a picture for people. Loosely paint a picture for people to help them understand why Frank may have slammed that belt. Number one is money. Conor, right before that fight, signed a big contract, which I believe he is set to make. I believe
a good amount of money,
over 100 million for the course of what I think is 10 fights. He is also, with the money that Conor is going to start looking to get, is going to start a new pathway for other champions looking for similar money. Now, I know other champions are not doing the same caliber of promoting as McGregor is doing.
Nobody is.
He's doing an unprecedented amount of publicity for the UFC that nobody else is doing. But I can definitely paint a picture for people and let them know money is definitely one thing. And another thing is this the say that Conor is now going to be able to have. The way he finished Aldo, the style he finished him, the promoting that he did in the lead up to the fight, you know, the Mendes fight, everything that's led up to that point, he knocks out Aldo in 13 seconds. Fastest knockout or fastest finish stoppage in UFC title history. The biggest UFC card ever. Arguably I'm 100% sure the highest pay-per-views they've ever had.
Absolutely. As he said himself, when he fights, it's red panty night.
The largest gate in UFC history, I believe it was $10.2 million gate. So everything was nothing short of huge. So as you can understand, anybody, and I know it is a conspiracy, you know, I've seen that video floating around social media of Frank slamming the belt, and I can at least tell fans that if you look at it, the money that Conor is saying and I'm not saying anything undisclosed here. Conor said on the Ariel Helwani interview that he was going to be making $100 million. And
Ariel Helwani, who is probably my favorite MMA reporter. He's been at it a long time.
Besides you.
And he's thank you. But he's been at it a long time, and I'm a big Ariel Helwani fan.
So I'm not saying anything undisclosed here. Well, Conor has came out and said that he's looking to make $100 million, and based off of that, $100 million is a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And it's more money than any other fighter has ever made. In fact, it's a lot more money than.
But somebody has to pave the way.
Somebody has to pave the way,
and he knows that he's the guy that's going to pave the way. Everyone does it in some sport. Michael Jordan did it in basketball. You know, lots of guys did it in baseball, like Alex Rodriguez, for instance. Tiger Woods did it in golf. But back to Alex Rodriguez, when he signed that $250 million 10-year contract people are like, this is insane. He's making $250 million. And now what happens the other year? What's his name? For the Mariners, oh my God, I can't think of his name. 300 million. Signed at 300 million. And then look, David Price for our Boston Red Sox. So these guys here, see, right in here, he'll be playing in here. Another 217 million or whatever contract he made.
A ball field for ants. No, what I'm saying is to paint the picture for the fans, you know, especially anybody that noticed Frank Fertitta slamming the belt, which, yeah, I know you've seen it just recently, and it is creepy and it is weird. But again, I'm not saying anything undisclosed here. Conor has said in the Ariel Helwani interview that he's looking for a deal over 100 million. Okay.
Yep.
Over 100 million. Then I know for a fact that he got that, or he's at least getting it. And then he goes and knocks out Aldo in that fashion. It is now it's a money thing, and they understand that Conor is in the driver's seat. So it's I believe when you see him slam the belt, it's a sign of frustration. I mean, anybody that knows Frank Fertitta, I haven't met him personally a couple of times. Very nice guy, great guy, you know. But I can tell you, he's definitely doesn't hide his emotions.
Yep.
Frank Fertitta.
Wears his heart on his sleeve, should we say?
Wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't hide his emotions, and that's probably why he's a good businessman, because he says things straight up.
Yep.
But he also shows things straight up. Lorenzo Fertitta, however, is a much more cool, calm, composed individual. That's probably why they make such good business partners. Yep. The yin and the yang. Lorenzo keeps it so cool. He's like the silver fox. No emotion, plays it cool, and that's what it is. Frank, however, Frank is more the, you know, he does whatever he feels like is on his mind, says whatever he feels like, you know, all this kind of stuff. So, but where I'm looking to get at here, Vinny, is they understand that Conor is now in the driving seat. There's a lot of money on the line, and it's starting to show a new way for fighters making the money that they deserve. And they, I know, don't like that, or at least maybe they're not frustrated
because they're not used to not being fully in control.
They're not used to being in control.
They're not used to being fully in control, which they aren't now because of McGregor.
And I have one last thing. Go ahead. Just to say, I was very surprised. I was there. I was out back. You know, I congratulated Conor. He's a friend of mine. You know, we've gone to school together. I took him to his first MMA class. So, you know, I was happy that I got the opportunity to go out back, see him. Of course, spent a little time with him and his family, and Frank Fertitta wasn't there. Dana White wasn't there. No, they didn't come in to congratulate him. Lorenzo was the only one that came in. Yeah. Says a lot about that relationship. Yeah. But moving on, I'm just painting the picture.
Yeah. One thing I just want to talk about real quickly before we wrap this up is the way that the UFC has progressed as a show.
Incredible.
It's unbelievable. They do a phenomenal job. The last time UFC 189 at the Mendez fight, you had the live performers. They don't know what it's going to be like, so they'll go, do you know what, we'll give it a go. They're willing to give anything a go. I love that about it. And the new lighting method for UFC 194, when Buffer's about to introduce the two combatants, spotlights on them. It was phenomenal. They put on a great show. They're building and building, and they're getting better every time through trial and error, which some companies, large companies and things like that, they're afraid to do. But the UFC said, no, Joe, we're going to give it a try. We're going to try these live events for these live bands for UFC 189, Sinead O'Connor, and it turned out awesome. It turned out really, really good.
Yeah, really
it was phenomenal. Last thing, who do you think McGregor's going to fight next?
Without a doubt, he's fighting Rafael dos Anjos. Where that'll be, I believe it'll be in Vegas. They'll do a big gate in Vegas, big pay-per-view, and provided Conor McGregor wins that fight, he will. I believe it'll be UFC 200 for Conor McGregor. Very impressive destruction of Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who, by the way, has one of my top 5 favorite entrance songs. Amazing. Unbelievable. And shout out to Uriah Faber. Gives me chills when I hear that, when I hear him being introduced. That entrance song, that California, I love it. Faber's the man.
It's a staple, I feel, of the UFC. When you hear that, I know Uriah Faber's coming out, and I know we're going to get a war every time. Love Cowboy, love Faber. Last thing, Super Bowl prediction.
Patriots.
Love it. It's funny because we finished 12-4 last year. We finished 12-4 this year. Last year worked out pretty good for us.
Absolutely.
Love it. My name is Vincent Gilroy. You can catch me on Twitter at Vincent Gilroy. This is Tom the Tank Egan at the Tank Egan MMA. Thank you guys for watching.